What have these last few days felt like for you leading into tomorrow's game?
Yeah, I think it's just nice to get back out there and get to the flow of, playing with my teammates again. And, it's gonna be fun to get back out there, hopefully, and just feel things again. I think, I don't know what type of minutes I'm going to get, will look like, but just when I'm out there, compete, play hard. This is going to be a team that's going to be moving constantly, so just being aware and active, bring energy. And yeah, I think that's obviously hard, sitting out and watching for a few weeks, so I'm definitely excited to get back out there.
Steph said yesterday you're not a fan of minutes restrictions. How do you anticipate all that actually going when you play tomorrow?
Yeah, I hope to play a decent amount, maybe upper 20s. I guess it just depends how I feel and how the game goes and, what the team needs as well. But, yeah, I feel pretty good, but probably going to try not to overdo it as well and put myself in a good position moving forward.
Caitlin, Steph talked about you having your coach's hat on during this stretch. Is there a particular thing or things you find yourself looking at most often while you've been watching?
I try to notice as much as I can. I think, when we're successful, it really starts on defense for us. I think when we're disruptive, when we're up in passing lanes, defending hard, active hands, things like that, I think that's what leads to us being really good offensively. I think that's what led to our 2 games where we beat the Lynx and beat the Aces, and I think we lacked in that area versus the Sparks. We kind of just let them do whatever they want to. I thought we were a step behind, so I think that has to be intentional for our group going forward. Is we have to be a step ahead of everything, and that just comes down to knowing personnel and knowing our scout and being very intentional in that, and I think that's kind of where the coaches have challenged us too.
How has Aries' addition kind of changed that vibe with this defensive group?
Yeah, she's as active as they come. She's going to be aggressive. She's going to pressure you. She's going to have her hands in passing lanes. She's going to cause a little bit of havoc out there, and I think that's exactly what we need. And she's going to pick up pole, and I know that well. She guarded me a couple times last year, so I think she's been tremendous for us, honestly.
How much are you just looking forward to being on the court with Aries?
Yeah, I think it'll be great. Obviously, I haven't played a game with her, I don't think, at least. She's kind of been here when I've been out, so I think it'll be great. I think it'll be nice to play with another point guard who can, read the floor really well and, get me to come off a few screens rather than, just playing out a ball screen mostly. And, we're still going to do a lot of that and play in transition and all that, but when we have an opportunity to run me off some screens, and I think that just gives the defense another thing they have to plan for, and we're not, as predictable as we may have been earlier in the season. So try some of that, but I think it'll be a lot of fun.
How much did you enjoy celebrating that cup we saw all the videos, but what was that celebration like for you with your teammates?
Just really proud of my team, honestly. They went in there and they believed that they could win, and they prepared that they could win, and that's exactly what they did. I thought, we dictated defensively, and that's a really, really hard place to play. I don't think the Lynx have lost there yet because that game didn't count, so they're technically undefeated at home, and it's one of the hardest places to play, and that's not just the past years, that's over the course of the Lynx franchise. They've always dominated their home court, so especially to go in there on that type of game with that type of high stakes, I'm really proud of our group, so it was fun celebrating with all of them.
Steph has talked about kind of taking some pressure off you with Aries kind of running point in some actions and you playing off the ball. Just how do you think that will help when you reintegrate onto the court?
Yeah, it'll be nice probably not to have to bring the ball up against pressure 94 feet, but like I said, that's what I'm best at, so we're still going to do a lot of that. It's, I think, finding a balance and finding the ways to give the defense different looks, and me becoming a better screener and being a good screener and coming off of screens and screening for Kels and all that different type of stuff. That's a whole other layer of things that the other team has to prepare for. So like I said, I feel like it makes us less predictable, and you're still going to see a lot of the same things that we do, but at times move us off the ball, and especially out of timeouts and drops, maybe not so much our live flow and our live play. I think we'll be solid.
Given that you never really missed time, has this been one of the more difficult stretches of your playing career?
For sure, no doubt about it. I think it's been challenging mentally, just staying in it, and you're way more busy when you're hurt than when you're coming in and all you do is scout film and come out here and walk through things. So I'm in here hours and hours on hours trying to get my body right and do everything I can to put myself in a position to be available the rest of the year, and that's certainly my goal, and I feel good about that. And but yeah, it's definitely challenging. I think it's been so challenging because I've never been through it before. So just giving myself grace as I continue to come back and get my feet under me. And but I think it's also been an amazing opportunity for myself too. And you know, allowed me to learn a lot. And I think, you know, when we get to the end of the year and get here in the playoffs, I think this is gonna be a moment where I can look back on and you know, be really proud of myself for everything that I went through and, you know, how I've dealt with it.
Caitlin, you've been on the J-Dub before.
Yeah.
What do you think now that you've seen the finished product for this?
It's enormous. It's a little overwhelming. I mean, you look up there, it's pretty big, but it's certainly cool. And I've said this before. I'm like, anytime you get on the JW Marriott in like Indianapolis, it's like a huge deal. Like that's prime real estate for ads. But yeah, it's certainly really cool. And you know, we're obviously really excited to have All Star. And I guess everybody got to watch ESPN or WNBA Countdown tonight to see my team. I know my team, but I'm not gonna say anything yet. So
Cool.
go
Thanks,
watch.
Caitlin.
Yep.